It's episode 91 of Unstuck. Today, I'm going to share with you the quantum leap I made in my business and what I did to make it happen. So stay tuned. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Unstuck. Thank you so much for being here. I truly, really am so grateful and appreciative of all of you that tune in and listen to me just chat to myself, but really to you. I envision you all out there checking in while you're cooking or on a walk or on a drive. I really do appreciate it so much. If you're new to Unstuck, hello, hi, welcome. Good to have you. Get comfy, stay a while. I am Shawn, your host, and this is where we do the work. This is where we sometimes get uncomfortable, where we look into ourselves, do the inner work, and become the best version of ourselves from the inside out so that we can have the business of our dreams, the life that we love, the freedom, the joy, the abundance, the success, whatever it is you wish to have. So I'm happy to have you here. Before we dive into today's hot topic, I got to remind you of something because it's coming up really fast, and that is the free 5-day client attraction challenge coming up next week if you're listening to this when it airs, because the client attraction challenge is happening April 5th, 2021 through April 9th, 2021. It is 5 days where I will walk you through the 5 things you need to be doing in your business to become your own magnet for attracting your dream clients, your dream customers, so you can start making a bigger impact and the income you want in your service-based business. Every day for 5 days, you will hear from me in the morning via email with your action step for the day to start building your client attraction system. And then you will also receive a private podcast episode from me to you. It's private, but gives you something to chew on for the day when you're out on a walk or on a hike or working out or making dinner in the car, whatever. Just gives you a little something extra each day. And then we'll also have a private pop-up Facebook group just for this week, where we'll be hanging out. I'll be answering questions all week. I'll be doing live Q&A, live coaching with you all day. Not all day. I can't be live all day. I do have a little bit of life here, but every day. And we can chat there all week and make sure your questions are answered. So it is going to be so fun, basically like a party for 5 days where we are partying and celebrating your business and the impact you're about to make and how everything's about to change for you. And so we got to get you signed up. Last call, unstuck.shawnmynar.com/attraction. Okay, head there right now, get signed up. This is for anybody who is either going to step into their role as a wellness entrepreneur soon, is already in that role and is ready to expand and grow their business and create a bigger impact in the wellness space. And, just to be honest, it doesn't have to be in the wellness space. It could be any service-based business where you need clients and customers in order to grow, which is a lot of businesses, let's be honest. But if this is something that you're working on and dealing with in your business, no matter what field it's in, I'd love to have you join us. That'd be super fun. So head again, unstuck.shawnmynar.com/attraction to sign up today. We start next week, so soon. Today, we're talking quantum leaps. This may or may not be a new topic for you. Actually, really quickly, before we get into it, I just need to give a little disclaimer. I'm at my office and there is lots of grass cutting lawn mowing going on in the background, which you can probably hear, and I apologize. It's also extremely warm and the air conditioning is running full blast, and I know for a fact that you can hear that, and I also apologize for that. However, I am already in a tank top with all the windows closed and the blinds shut, so I'm sitting in the dark right now and I'm still really hot. So I gotta have the air running, and it's just something that you'll probably hear in the background, but it's okay. I think it'll be fine, and I apologize. And luckily, we're going to be out of this office really soon, and you will never have to hear that again. And hopefully never have to hear lawn mowing in the background again either, but I can't guarantee on that. All right, back to quantum leaps. They're kind of a hot topic, I'd say, at least if you're in this kind of spiritual, energetic space. Lots of talk on quantum leaping. I'm going to, instead of providing a quote, which I normally do in each episode, instead I'm going to provide a definition of what a quantum leap is, so that those of you who've not heard this term before are caught up before we get into it. So the definition of quantum leap is a huge, often sudden, increase or advance in something. That's the actual definition. I would just make the definition like a big up level in a short period of time. I would also say it's kind of manifestation on steroids, like crazy manifestation, happens really quickly, big leap, get you where you want to be fast kind of thing. It's called a quantum leap because from an energetic perspective, in terms of like scientific energy, quantum physics, and as you all know, I'm not really into the sciencey piece of it. It very much gets over my head a lot of times, but I'm going to explain this all for you for those that do like the science. A quantum leap is a discontinuous transition between quantum states. So what this means is that an electron in one energy level in an atom jumps instantly into another energy level, emitting or absorbing energy as it does. There's no in-between state, and it doesn't take any time for the leap to occur. So I'm just picturing it like at one instant, there's an electron in this spot, and then in another instant, it just automatically jumped to this other spot. No time has passed. It took nothing for the leap to occur. So that's why it's a quantum leap. It happens very quickly. That's why we now use that to describe this huge advance that we make when we up level quickly, especially in the business space. If you have this massive shift or a massive change in your business pretty quickly, then we call it a quantum leap. And it's a very hot topic. And in the business space, it makes it seem like that person has had overnight success. And if you're looking at it from this outside perspective, and of course, we're seeing the highlight reel of people's instantaneous success, their quantum leap, then it may seem like it's not possible for you. You have to do something crazy for it to happen. You have to know somebody to make it happen. And it's just not going to happen for you. And so I want to shine a light on that and share a little bit about my own quantum leap, which I really do think I have had. You may not agree when I give you some of the statistics that I'm about to give you and the time in which it took, but I really do see it that way. And I have a different perspective of how it happened, why it happened, and it may be something that will happen for you too. So disclaimer here, I'm going to talk financials for a little bit because it's the most tangible way to see the quantum leap that I feel like I had in my business. But there really was so much more behind the scenes that's not so sexy, I guess you could say, that changed along with this, that I really truly think is even more important than the numbers. But for the sake of just sharing with you what happened in this external perspective, I'm going to talk numbers. Please just see them as numbers. Don't take any meaning behind it or anything like that. Don't make it any stories around it. Just go with it. Now, a lot of you know my story. I talk about it a lot here. I will save some of that because I do talk about it so much here. And if you haven't heard it yet, I would advise you to go back to episode 88, which is the 8 things I learned from my rock bottom moment. That is where I really go into detail everything that happened to get to my rock bottom moment, which was in 2016, and everything that I learned, or really what changed for me to get to where I was in 2017. Because for me, that is when the quantum leap happened in my business. I talk about it a lot. I talked about it in that episode. I'm going to talk about it here again today for those that don't know, or just as a reminder, because I think it's a really important story to this. So in 2016, I was had been in really my first business, a personal training business, for a couple years, working on that, and really not having success with it. I was massively undercharging. I wasn't contemplating or really giving any thought to my time, return on investment when it comes to time, how much my time was worth, and really how much my experience and my knowledge and everything. It just was a big disaster. And I was massively undercharging, and I wasn't making any money, and I was in debt. By the end of the year, I'd gotten to $20,000 in debt. I'd say by October, I think I had gotten there. That was my total. And struggling, also working on some health issues, which got me to a point where I really couldn't do that job because it's a very physical job, obviously. And I didn't have the energy or the ability to do so. And I had to cut back on clients and just all this stuff. At the same time, I had just gotten certified to be a nutritional therapy practitioner, really wanted that to be my business. I had this dream practice that I was envisioning, and I really wanted to help people in that way. And I wanted it to be all online so I could just take clients from my home and work from home and all that stuff. Really excited for that to come to be, but still kind of had my foot in both spaces, still was doing the personal training because it was in my comfort zone. I knew it would bring in a certain level of income every month, which wasn't enough, but at least I knew that. And just all this stuff. So that was 2016. And in 2016, my total income for my business was $15,302. That is the amount of total income I made in 2016. Now, in 2017, and I really don't think this does it justice because it is a whole year, and I feel like the quantum leap really happened quicker than this, but this is the byproduct, and this is really was the easiest, quickest way for me to get the proof, the numbers. In 2017, my total income was $187,727. So $187,727. So that's a pretty big jump from 15 grand to 187 grand in 1 year. I think that is huge. I think that's a really big deal. And so for me, and I think maybe for you, that's like, cool, that's amazing. What did you do? How did you make that switch? What happened? What was that thing that really made it all come together, made you have this quantum leap to where you could start living out your dreams and make this big change in your income to where you weren't struggling and could pay off your debt and all that stuff? So why? Why did I make this big change in a matter of a year? And like I said, really, it was actually in a matter of months, and the yearly income was just the best way to prove it. Did I change something drastic? Did I have some giant shift? Did I have this like moment of enlightenment? No. What I now understand, now that I know so much more, this was a while ago, I've continued to do so much work on myself. My primary goal every day in my life is to do inner work, and has been since then. So what I know now is that it was the culmination of a bunch of small, seemingly unimportant, seemingly disconnected steps that I had made in my life. And again, going back to episode 88, where I talk about some of those learning experiences and things I changed, it's a lot of those things that seem to have nothing to do with my business success. Things like having self-love and finding self-love, having body acceptance and body neutrality. These things that didn't seem to really matter as far as my business goes mattered a ton. And we're part of the process of having what can be seen as this big, massive shift in my business, this quantum leap, where it would seem like something drastic happened, but actually, it's all these small steps. And it probably is the case for a lot of other people you may see who are having this massive success all of a sudden. It's not necessarily that they did something crazy that would be totally out of reach for you, or it's just not possible. What it is, quite often, is actually the culmination of really important small steps that all come together at just the right time for you. For me, how that looked, those small steps, if I can really classify them in just a few different areas, the small steps I made in my energy, in what I was putting out into the world and how I was thinking, and as a result of those thoughts, how I was feeling and how I was acting. I really, at that point, because I had nothing to lose, I went all in when it came to my own work of myself and really practicing these tools that I had learned to be well energetically, mentally, emotionally, and of course physically. I already had that in the bag, but learning these other tools to be fully well, which I was doing at the time to help with my actual physical health, but in turn really helped my business at the same time, which I was unaware of until much later. And another thing is I went all in on one particular area. All of that transformation I was having in terms of my energy was going into just one business. I gave up what was really dragging me down, that personal training business that was no longer in alignment with what I wanted to do. And I went all in on my dreams, on my passion, on my purpose. And that energy, that newfound energetic expression I was having, was all in towards that business, towards that dream, towards those clients, towards my message to those clients. And that really made a big difference. Speaking of, I got really clear on my vision and my desire. So especially once I was able to let go of that other thing, to not be pulled in two different directions, it was so much easier for me to get clear on my vision of how my new business would look and how I would be as a nutritional therapy practitioner, as how my days would go as someone who took clients online from home, how many clients I would have, who I would help and how I would help them, what my specialty was, what I was able to provide for them, how the packages went, all those things, which gets into the nitty gritty, but that's important when you're coming up with a vision of how you want things to go and how you want your life and business to look. But I was finally able to get clear on that. And again, not something that I knew automatically was going to create this big change for me, but it ended up being a necessary component, a necessary small step that I took that combined with all these others made the difference. I became aware of my stories, something we talk about here, my entrepreneurial ego. I became aware of what my fears were, why I was having those fears, how they were showing up, what my ego was telling me and trying to guide me to continue to play small. And I didn't listen. I put myself out there in the most imperfect way you could ever imagine. Everything that I look back on that I created, even like a year ago, 2 years ago, it makes me cringe. I'm so embarrassed because I put out this stuff that at the time I thought was great, that now I'm like, oh gosh, no, that's not good at all. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It still doesn't matter. I'm going to put stuff out like this podcast I'm going to put out today, and then in a year it's going to make me cringe. And that's okay. That's how it's always going to be. That's when you know that you are taking imperfect action because you are putting your clients first before your own fears and stories of things that are probably never going to come true. So I was able to do that, and I really was determined to put myself out there and to not let those stories take over. I gained confidence, which we talked about confidence last week, was it? Or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the importance of having confidence as a way to attract your clients to your work. And for me, it was one of those things that I didn't have very much of, especially because I was really going through some body image issues and really not feeling comfortable in my skin and not feeling good about myself. But then going also through the process of understanding how much more I am than my physical body, how much more I have to offer, and actually that what my physical body doing has absolutely nothing to do with what I can contribute to this world and how I can help people, nothing to do with it. And so it started small. It was one of those things where confidence went from like 0 to 10, and in having that 10% confidence, I was able to help and serve people. And then as I was able to help and serve those people and get them what they desire, be their guide, be their inspiration, and really they achieve something that has been an issue for them with my guidance, well, then that contributes to that confidence even more. So then you have like 20% confidence, and then 40, and then 60, and then 100. It continues to become this snowball effect where you just get just enough to put yourself out there and to help some people, to get some clients attracted into your space and start that process. And then as those clients get results with you as their guide, then that snowballs into more and more and more confidence. So again, it's one of those things where I wouldn't have even said back then that I had any confidence or that that was the reason why I had a quantum leap or anything like that. But now looking back, I can see how I was growing into this very confident practitioner as I was continuing in that year. So those are just a few things, and I don't want to go through a whole list because, like I said, so many of them are back in that other episode 88, and I talk about so many of the other things so often, and I will continue to do. So I don't want to take more time in this episode doing that. What I really want to do is take it back to you and take it back to where you are making progress right now, the small baby steps that you are taking right now, and getting you to a place where you can celebrate those. Celebrate all the steps and focus on those baby steps. Be proud of yourself for taking those baby steps, because while they may seem insignificant, while they may seem unimportant right now, while they may seem like they definitely would never contribute to you having this massive success all of a sudden, they do. It is often a culmination of all of those little things that you're doing day in and day out that come together at just the right time for you and make a big difference in your world and in your success and in your business, but also in the impact and the help that you can provide other people. So please just continue to celebrate every step that you are taking. And instead of getting so wrapped up in the big steps that you feel like you need to take in order to get to point B, where you want to be, where you're making a certain amount of money, where you have a certain amount of clients, where you put out a certain amount of content every week or every month. When you have all these big things that you want to do, understandably, and I think we should all have those for sure, but instead of focusing on the big steps required to get us there, what if we focus on the baby steps, break it down even further to find those baby steps that maybe don't feel so overwhelming, maybe don't feel so heavy, so big, but might be exactly what you need all combined together to make the leap that you want to make. Also, the great thing about those baby steps is that is where the fun is. That is where the growth is. That is where all of the learning experiences are. And it's where the magic happens. The magic doesn't necessarily have to happen by taking this massive, huge, scary, weird, I don't really like this step. The magic happens in all the small steps that you are making and taking every single day. Even just by you listening to this podcast, this is a baby step for you. This is a place where the magic can happen. This is a place where you can have an aha moment and where you can be inspired to take that action, take that baby step. And then before you know it, as long as you are committed to those baby steps, celebrating the baby steps, making them wins, before you know it, those are huge steps. They're steps that you've taken from all different little areas that come together to be something incredible. And that is when you can have a quantum leap yourself. That is when you will experience your goals, your dreams, your desires. And all you had to do was focus on the next baby step. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the big steps and then never doing them, hey, what if it's just about baby steps? What if it's just that? And that is my goal for the work that we do in Unstuck Entrepreneur. That is why I created that place where we can break it all down into baby steps, where you will not be forced to make massive steps, where we celebrate the small steps and the small wins, and we are there for each other through each small step to celebrate. That is exactly what we do. And in the process, we're creating quantum leaps simply by taking those actions and taking them from an inspired place instead of a forced, scared, I don't actually really want to do this. This actually doesn't really feel that comfortable, but I feel like I need to because I got to make some sort of thing happen. No, let's take inspired action. And that's what we do in Unstuck Entrepreneur. Now, I do want to take a moment after that little pep talk. Hopefully you're feeling super inspired and motivated and excited and happy about your baby steps. But we are all about both the inner work and the outer work here as Unstuck Entrepreneurs. And so I do want to take you through some of the practical steps I took to create the space for this quantum leap to occur, because that's important too. So just quickly, a few things I did. First of all, I figured out who exactly I wanted to work with, and I marketed only to them. I figured out exactly who I wanted to work with and marketed only to them. Now you may be thinking, ooh, that's weird. Like you just cut out most of the people that you were talking to and only spoke to a select few. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And guess what? Every single one of those select few wanted to work with me because I made it very obvious that I could help them, that I understood them, that I got where they were coming from. So I marketed specifically to them. Again, something we do we'll do in the challenge. We'll get that all set up for you in your business for free during the Client Attraction Challenge. And also something we spent a ton of time really honing in on in Unstuck Entrepreneur. Next, I created one package for everyone. And this is where I should break in and tell you that when I had that quantum leap and reached that 6-figure mark per year in my business, for the first time, it was pretty much solely through one-on-one nutrition clients and the supplement sales and things like that from that practice. So now's a really good time for me to tell you about that because, like I said, I created one package for everyone. So I stopped having more like stuff for me to do and stuff for them to decide what they wanted to do and me to decide what they wanted to do, more work on my end. At the time, I had an assistant too working and more work for her. And there was just like a lot of stuff going on and decisions and things like that that I just cut out. One package for everyone. And it was a no-brainer. So from there, when I was talking about what I do and who I work with and how I help and what happens, I only had to talk about one thing. And so I got really good at talking about that one thing, how it would help people, what happened in every step of the way. And it became this place where I was really confident in talking about my services. And so people purchased. It's that easy. I also made that package a very appropriate price for the service I was providing, for the work I was doing, the time I was spending doing it, the expertise I had, the professional experience I had, all of the stuff, not just my time spent with that person. So I really figured out how to charge appropriately and got really comfortable and confident with that number and confidently sold it. Confidently discussed it to where, again, it was a no-brainer. I didn't work with people that weren't serious about healing. I was very clear about who I helped, how I helped them, what was expected of them, and who I didn't work with as well. Again, am I taking people out of the equation? Yes. Is that better for my business? Yes. Did I say no to people that wanted to work with me? Yeah, because it wasn't a good fit. I was very clear about who was appropriate for the work that I do, that I really wanted to work with serious people only that were truly committed to their health as much as I was. And I wanted to put my energy towards that person. And so if they weren't ready, if it wasn't the right time, if they weren't quite there with what they were committed to doing, then I was very much able to say, no, this isn't the right time. Next, I put up on my website very clearly, in very clear language, the price range of what it would be to work with me in that package. There's a little bit of a difference, a little bit of a range just based on the tests they needed run. And so there's a little range, but I put it on right on my website right before they sign up for a free consultation. So there was no surprises for anybody, which meant I also was able to work with serious inquiries only when I was doing the free 15-minute call. And again, am I shutting down more people? Yes, probably. But I think I'm also showing my confidence and my ability to serve and how serious I am going to be in this process, which means that is what I will also require from clients. So putting your prices up front and center so there's no surprises, so there's no wiggle room, so there's no negotiation, shows confidence. It makes your potential clients more confident in you and your work, and it shows how serious and committed they need to be from the start. And that's really important to getting a good candidate into your doors, and it makes it so that when you have those 15-minute or 20-minute, whatever they are, free consultations to see if you're a good fit, then you already know that person is as serious as you are, And then it's just a matter of really truly seeing if you're a good fit to work together. And it's a good return on investment for your time. And if you're going to be doing things for free, it should be a good return on investment for your time. So you should not be doing free 15-minute consultations with someone that thinks you're just going to charge like $20 an hour or something and call it good. That's not necessarily what we do. And if you do, then cool. Just also put that on your website or in a really open space where people can see that that's what you're working with. And as you can see through all of this is just a few things, but I do want to add this practical touch in because what I really want to show you is how obvious it was that I was showing up as a confident practitioner and business owner. That I was done undercharging, that I was done being wishy-washy, that I was done taking clients that we weren't a good fit or weren't committed or would cancel or not do their work or just all that stuff that I had all done in my previous business as a personal trainer. I was done with that. And I wanted to show up as the confident practitioner that I was. The only way I was able to do that is by doing this inner work, by taking these other baby steps that I talked about earlier, so that I could then infuse that into these practical steps I was taking in my business. If I didn't do that work, those baby steps that really didn't seem like much at the time, and that includes, I know this sounds crazy, but it does include self-love, self-care, body image work, that allowed me to be more confident, to show up as this confident practitioner. And then, as I said, it starts as like 10% and it expands as you continue to expand. And as I continued to show up in this way and it continued to expand and I continued to do the inner work and infuse it into this outer experience for my clients, I had a wait list of people waiting to work with me. Like it was just this attraction that I had because of the confidence, because of how I was showing up, because of my energetic expression, because of all these things we've talked about over the past few episodes. And this is how it manifested for me. And it manifested quickly, which is why it may not be a quantum leap, but I'm calling it that because I really think it is. And it's only gotten better from there. More and more leaps had beyond that, which are just amazing. But this really was the first one, the first time where I was like, okay, maybe I actually can be a successful business owner. Maybe this will all work out for me. And I want that for you too. If you haven't already have that, it is on the horizon for you. But please look at those baby steps and celebrate them and be so proud of yourself for taking those steps and just taking one after the other every single day with inspiration, with motivation, with encouragement, with passion, so that you're infusing that work with the right type of energy. Okay, I will leave it at that, and I'd love to hear your own stories of quantum leaps or small baby steps you're working on, or how you're infusing your inner work into your outer experience for your clients. And hey, we can do that all next week. Next week, people. You got to get on it. In the Client Attraction Challenge for any wellness entrepreneur, any service-based entrepreneur, honestly, that really wants to draw in their dream client without feeling salesy and sleazy and weird and having to use all these weird sales techniques and Instagram algorithms and all that crazy stuff. If you want to start attracting your dream clients with ease, then you need to be in the free Client Attraction Challenge happening next week, 5 days together, and you will get all the tools you need to really create a simplified system in your business to attract more clients and customers. And it's totally free. Just go to unstuck.shawnmynar.com/attraction. That's unstuck.shawnmynar.com/attraction. And we'll spend next week together, all 5 days. You're going to kind of be sick of me by the end. Just kidding. I hope not, but maybe. And we'll get all of that sorted out and you'll be feeling so much more confident in your own business and know that you have the capability to make it a success. So I look forward to hanging out with you all over there. This is your last call right now. So you need to make sure you're over there. Get signed up today. We start next week. And this is if you're listening to this when it airs. If you're listening to this after the fact, you might be too late, but maybe not. So go check in and see if it's not too late. unstuck.shawnmynar.com/attraction. All right, everyone. Until next time, take care.